Welcome back to another episode of the Jumpsuit Gems podcast. I'm Katie.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Alex.
Today we have a very special guest.
I'm Amy.
And who are you, Mom? Oh shit, I just gave it away.
This is our mother.
Yep.
The one and only.
Are you so excited to be on the podcast?
I am. I'm excited to talk about all the fun we had on our trip.
That's good. It's good. Guys, this is going to be a hard one to get through. Okay, Mom. So talk about when we asked you to go to Graceland. I guess, when was that? I don't know. Why did we ask
In
Mom
December.
to go? December?
Yeah, because Grace didn't think she would go, so we thought first of Grandma, but Grandma was so sick. And then as soon as we knew Grandma was terminal, we wanted to include Mom.
So, Mom, I guess talk about what it was like. You didn't really know much about Graceland and stuff. You'd never been there before, but you knew Elvis because of Grandma. So kind of just talk about what was going through your head when we asked you to come to Graceland for like 10 days.
Well, I immediately started purchasing outfits and shoes and jewelry and purses.
We're not even to the part I asked you what went through your head. Like, why did you say yes to going to Graceland with us?
I said yes because Grandma couldn't go, and I just thought that it would be good for myself to go. And then when she passed, I knew it was going to be more of a memorial trip in memory of her. I prepared a special little container that held part of her ashes and a little picture of her inside and sunflowers. And we were able to leave it. And so she will forever be with Elvis in Graceland.
Mm-hmm. Now you may speak about your outfits.
Well, 10 days is a long time, especially when you're told, quote unquote, you need to have 3 outfits per day.
Roughly.
And that doesn't include what you want to kick around in the motel room and sleep in.
We told you 2 a day.
Yeah, I think 3. She's thinking herself.
So when we had to pack for this trip, she came over with suitcases. I think we only took half the clothes that she purchased. So,
well, I prepared for 3 per day, and we were able to cut it down to 2 per day.
We don't even know how we got that thing to fit.
She came over with how many? It was 1 big, huge suitcase, and then it was 2 carry-ons, and then a couple bags of like a backpack, and then 2 bags.
Yeah.
And she was allowed 1 backpack, 1 carry-on. No, actually, no carry-on because she used her backpack like a silly person.
Somehow she got to take 2 personal items on, and I don't know how those people allowed her.
They just love me.
Oh God! I think
they can say no to me.
Not deal
it
with
was
her.
just a busy time. I don't think they noticed, but
Okay, so I mean, for us too, that was really hard to pack for Elvis week because we always bring too much stuff as it is. I feel like, and oof. Well, we'll get into what our hotel room looked like, but we shared 1 room for 10 days. Oh, that was hard, right? I mean,
1 room for 4 women with large suitcases. So 4 large suitcases and 4 carry-ons and all of our personal items. Those rooms, unless you have a suite, which we are not as lucky, I guess you can say.
Not yet.
That was the hardest struggle, I think, was basically having piles of our stuff, trying to keep clean piles and dirty piles, and
it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
It could have been worse, but that room got smaller and smaller as the days went on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess let's talk about flying there. Our first day, we got pretty lucky because we left our airport at 11:30, 11:45?
Yeah, we had a late start. We got to sleep in.
It was really nice because usually we fly out and
Super early.
Always super early, like 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
We did forget a suitcase.
Oh my goodness. I had to go get my nails done. And I said, okay, well, once I leave, like I get back, we can go. They're like, okay, perfect, because our grandma's friend and our family, Bonnie, she gave us a ride. And she's a van, so we got in there. I was like, perfect, let's go. We get to the airport, and I'm just like, okay. Everybody's got their bags. Where's my carry-on? And see, my carry-on, I packed my carry-on with the most, like, needing outfits. Because it's like, what if my big suitcase gets lost? So I was like, all my important outfits that I look amazing in, including what I'm wearing right now, was in my carry-on. And they forgot it. So I had to drive back.
Let's be fair. The time it took you to drive back from the airport to our apartment to the airport, we still were in line to check in.
But thankfully we're early because
we did just fine.
It could have been way worse if we were always get there early because that could happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm. And we only had one stop. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it was in Salt Lake.
Yes.
Yep.
And then we went straight to Memphis. We got there at 6, 7?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it didn't feel like all day when we were flying. Sometimes it does. Like
that travel day was very good, I think.
Mm-hmm. Our first time we went to Graceland, we had, 2 stops? We had, a bunch of planes to get off, on and off.
2 or 3.
So this was nice. If you can do one stop, do it because...
If you do no stops, that'd be great, but we live too far away.
So we get there. Mom, I kind of want you to talk about, because we've been to Graceland before, so... I guess talk about the bus that picks us up from the airport and how it has Elvis's face on it. It says Graceland. And talk about the shuttle taking us to the hotel. What did you think of the hotel when you saw it for the first time, walking in, all that stuff?
Well, you know where you are when you get there because Elvis is everywhere. It was interesting, the little commute and shuttle bus to the Graceland, our guest house. There was a lot of luggage in the back.
We did go during Elvis week, so that place was packed.
Which shout out to the kind guy that packed all of our luggage. And I think he got hurt shoulder, but he packed all of our luggage for us.
Yeah, he was such a dad. It was nice.
He saved us because we wouldn't have been able to fit that.
He put those suitcases all the way up to the ceiling. So we got lucky with that one.
Right. And then when we were driving on the short drive from the airport to the guest house, and as we were getting closer and closer, I could see more things that I could identify, and it was breathtaking. It's like I couldn't speak. It was just this heavy but good feeling, and I think things that were going through my head were Elvis walked here, like Priscilla was here. And then the guest house, the girls had told me so many things about the people and how great they were to them when they were there, and just the ambiance when you walk in, and I felt it. The minute I walked through the electric doors opened and I walked inside, I knew exactly what they were talking about.
And since it was Elvis week, you even got the blue carpet.
I did. I got to walk in on a plushy blue carpet, like I was, Hollywood status. It was awesome.
That damn blue carpet, though.
Which we'll get to that in a little bit.
Not just I tripped once.
It's crazy.
It's okay. I mean, it was nice and fancy, but damn, a lot of people were falling on that thing.
A lot of people tripping.
So, anyway, that first night, we pretty much, because we got there kind of late, I don't think, did we have dinner?
We did. We went and ate.
We did. So we ate, here's the thing, we ate so many meals and stuff at that grill. So there's a grill inside, EP Bar and Grill, inside the restaurant, just off the lobby, and... How many times do we eat there? Like twice a day?
It was like every day because the other place was not open. So we would either eat at the museums or there.
And so we just walked around. We took our stuff upstairs. I think that's what I love about the guest house is like, I can't recall any other hotel that I feel so comfortable that I want to hurry up and put our stuff upstairs to get down and just mingle in the lobby.
Yeah.
Like you don't find that anywhere.
You're always in a race just to get to your room and be done. So we took our stuff up and we didn't even really try to unpack.
we just said, let's go get some dinner because we were starving. We ate, and then we kind of just walked around and waited till we could get our peanut butter and jelly. So,
And then the live music.
Live music, but that was the first night you met Anna.
Yes.
So talk about Anna and kind of describe, we've told them before, but maybe just describe your first meeting with her.
Well, I didn't know what to expect other than this wonderful little woman that was tough and sweet and looked after my girls when they were there before. And so I'd heard all the stories about Anna and what a hard worker she was. And when I got to meet her, she was so excited to meet their mom. It was kind of cool. It was like meeting a family member or someone you haven't seen for a long time. And I felt really comfortable talking to her. I knew immediately why my girls were attracted to her and took to her. She's just great heart, strong lady, and a tough cookie. Yeah. She don't take any guff off of anybody. So she was just right in our wheelhouse for family.
How were the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
They were good, and the homemade chocolate milk was the best I've ever had.
Pride and joy. She said to me, it's the best chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It was fun, and the line was long.
Mm-hmm. It's always like that. But I have to say, I was nervous that at Elvis Week, because I've been seeing all these TikToks and stuff, and we didn't get to go the year before since we were just becoming Elvis fans. I was scared that there was going to be so many people in there that we'd miss out on stuff and the lines would be too long. Honestly, I don't think it was that bad.
No.
It felt like not that many people were there, even though there were.
Well, and disclaimer though, the hotel rooms during Elvis Week are 3 times the amount of their normal rates. And they don't accept any discounts during Elvis Week. So, I mean, that is a little bit of a rough situation because a lot of people couldn't stay at the guest house. Now, they can get, like, permits, like parking permits, and they can come and, like, I think they can stay in the lobby and the grounds.
And a lot of people did. They would drive from other hotels and just come hang out in the lobby.
But a lot of people were telling us that they just couldn't afford to stay.
Which was really sad because if you think about, like, the main people that like go to Elvis Week are older people, so it's like kind of sad they couldn't use like their AARP or anything like that.
Yeah, they take all discounts. Like they don't let you use any discounts during Elvis Week, which is kind of crazy because like they're losing out. Because like if they made it a little more affordable during Elvis Week, can you imagine the turnouts?
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be absolutely amazing. So maybe that's something they could work on.
But one day, if you guys have not been in Graceland due to cost, you will get there because we never thought we were going to be able to go, especially during Elvis Week. Like we were like, oh my gosh, there's no way we're going to make it
full Elvis Week
for a whole 10 days. But you will make it, so don't worry.
Yeah. So after we got the sandwiches, I just remember sitting in the lobby area and we were just listening to music downstairs, eating those. And it was awesome because I feel like you were just so excited.
I was. I can't tell you how many Elvises I saw walking around, but let me tell you, the first Elvis that I laid eyes on was Dean Z. And I had heard about Dean Z.
Dean Z was Dean Z, though. He wasn't dressed as Elvis.
He's Elvis. He looks like Elvis.
As soon as he walked in there, his presence was known. Oh, he had fangirls starting. So.
And he was just trying to get up and shower in his room, and people kept stopping him. He's like, I'm just trying to go shower, honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we didn't like go up to him or anything, but he was talking to Anna. And I didn't want to interrupt and stuff.
But we walked by.
But we knew. Obviously, you just know when that's him. I was like, that's him. That's Dean Z. So you saw him right away. That was cool because I feel like Mom's first time at the guest house, literally Dean Z walked right there. Yeah. I was like, wow, of course. So I think we just went up and kind of, we were probably really tired.
Well, we did do a little unpacking and making the most of the room we had.
Mm-hmm.
To me, our room was like a dressing room for performances.
Nothing more than that.
I mean, it was
well, we would
makeup station, accessories station. We had a table in there, and we set it up, and it had all our accessories, jewelry, glasses, sunglasses, hats, underneath shoes.
Oh God, shoes galore.
Shoes everywhere.
I didn't even wear all those.
No.
But they looked great in the dressing room.
But here's the thing: we needed options because this is Elvis week. Like it was.
We did use pretty much everything. I almost wear all my outfits. But if you want a better picture, just imagine like a really big walk-in closet with 2 beds in there.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you just have to sleep in there. That's what it looked like.
Yep.
Right.
But I mean, it was so fun. I get sad because I just wish we could go again this year. Like I wish, because I know it did feel at the end like, wow, this is long. But I don't know. That was like the best trip of my life.
It also went by really fast. Like I remember we
So
just
fun.
woke up and we're like, it's day 2 or it's day 3, and
Yeah.
it feels like it's
like
literally
we
been
have 8 more days left.
What?
Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Until day 6. And then the tone changed from,
Yeah.
oh, it's only day whatever to, it's day 6. We only have 4 more days.
I know.
Then it was like you wanted to take in as much as you could and just remember everything. Like even to the little details outside and the little patio areas, and making sure that you don't dismiss somebody that's smiling at you. They could be famous.
Yeah.
Which
Or
we'll
talking
get there.
to.
We'll get there.
But like if you're watching this or listening to this and you don't get to go this year or next year and you just think it's so out of reach, like save up to do all that, because we didn't get to go the year before and we just started like taking Elvis trips, but we're like, man, we are never going to be able to go to Elvis week. It's so expensive. But we worked really hard and we saved up. And just think, like we had like almost 2 weeks off of work. It was the best time. We literally woke up, or we got to sleep in most of the days, go down, have breakfast, get ready. I mean, take our time getting ready, dress up, fun outfits, concerts. I mean, go to bed, wake up, same thing the next day. Like it's so worth it. So like if you don't get to go this year, like there's always going to be Elvis weeks. And I wish we could go this year. Like I'm sad it's so expensive. And it's so far away too. Like I can't even imagine the people who have to come from like the UK or other countries, because for us it was a lot. But it definitely is worth it because I had the best time. I didn't want it to end. I was very sad when we had to come home. So
Yeah, that's true. But also, like, money always comes back. So if you're always like, if you're scared to take the risk,
You need the memories.
take it.
When you die, that money, where does it go? Like literally.
like,
so.
you'll make it back. If you're working, you'll make it in the next paycheck. Make sure you have enough bills to pay and then go. I mean, it's a one in, I mean,
well, and even this Elvis week, like I'm so glad we went because it pushed us to start this. And we already have a little like Jumpsuit Gems community, you know? And I feel like we're so much more confident. Like it helped us like really understand like this is what we want to do. And I think that's great. And I'm glad we went. So yeah, we went to sleep that night, and I have a list on here. So we're going to try to go down what every day was because there was so much. So the second day, we wanted to make sure to go down to the breakfast like buffet at the hotel and have Mom be able to eat there. So we did that. You can talk about that a little bit.
Oh, it was fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Super fancy, but it was quiet. There weren't a lot of people there when we went, and so we could have a conversation. You know, I envisioned massive people like having a hard time hearing each other and maybe feeling shoulder to shoulder with people and uncomfortable. It was not like that at all. It was like our regular vacation place we go to all the time.
Yeah.
Like our second home. It was comfortable. Everybody was very pleasant. Everywhere we went, I was asked if I had triplets. Or, oh, you have triplets.
oh, I was so mad at her because we went over this how many times before in the airport?
It's so hard to describe that Liz and I are twins and that Katie just looks a lot like us. So we're trying to just be like, when people call us triplets, we just say yes. But Mom was like,
Nope, that's not happening. And I was so upset because I was like, Mom, this is my time to shine.
Caitlin wants to be a part of this.
Yes.
For so long.
It's
So
not
she's
fair.
Like, please call me a triplet. And Mom's like, nope.
This is my youngest.
And my twins.
And then I told her, okay, Mom, next time, please don't out me. And then she did it not even like 10 minutes later. She said it again. And I said,
but she didn't just like agree, like, yep, these are my daughters. She would be like, nope, this one's younger and these ones are older. Oh my God.
so she
My
sabotaged
God-given
me,
right, I
but
carried all of you.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, we got that a lot, which we try to just say yes now. And it even feels like I don't want to say yes because it's a lie. But honestly,
we just say, yep, we're sisters.
yeah, that's what we say.
Because sometimes it's too hard because they think I look like one of them more than, and it's just, yeah.
So after breakfast, this was a big part. What did we do?
We went to Elvis's house. We went to Graceland.
Mm-hmm. And how was that? Because I guess so. If you haven't been there, if you stay at the guest house, they do free like shuttle rides. So you would shuttle over to like where all the museums and his houses and stuff. So I guess did you have nerves like that whole time? Because we still had to go get our bracelets for Elvis week. We still had to do all that before we even got on the bus to his house.
I don't know if I felt anything like anxious or nervous about stuff. Not even worried about our tickets. I wasn't even stressing about them. I could not take everything in that I saw as I went. And that was the day that I hugged Elvis, the picture on this podcast with me. Everywhere you looked, there was genuine pictures of Elvis that, I mean, they just spoke to you. And then, of course, the shops were fun to go in and look at all the different things. And then we had to go, we got our picture taken as we went to get in line for the special shuttle that takes you up to Graceland. And I wasn't really nervous. I was excited. The closer we got, and then the minute I saw us going through and going up to it, my heart was just racing. I was like so excited. But you get out and it's hot. It was hot. It was August in Memphis.
Pretty hot.
And so it was a little bit warm, and you had to wait for your turn to go through and do the tour. And the minute I walked through the door, like I'm standing on the porch, I look up at this light and I'm thinking, how many times did he stand on this porch or walk up and walk down it? And all the photos I've seen of him standing with Graceland in the background, like I'm literally standing where Elvis stood, or his mom, you know. And we got up to the door. It was our turn to go in. And people are just chatty and visiting and stuff. But the minute we walked in, everyone got quiet. And you could hear music. And it was cool in there. But the first thing my eyes went to were the peacock windows. And then it hits you. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like all the emotions, all the events that took place in that home. It's like the energy is still there and you feel it and you pick up on it. Maybe not everybody does, but I did. And I was just heavy with all these feelings. And I just stood there and looked into the room, onto the piano, and then looked at the couch and thought, I can only imagine the conversations they had in this room. And then we went over to the dining room, you know, and pictures of Priscilla and Lisa Marie everywhere, and thinking, you know, she used to run through here and giggle as a little girl and run up and down the steps. And it was overwhelming, I think is the best word to use. And then each room we went to, it'd be exciting to get there. But while you're there, it's like you think to the book, the audiobooks that we listened to prior to going, from both Priscilla and Linda Thompson, specials I've watched about Elvis's life. You know, the Jungle Room, I'm thinking, is this huge room. And in reality, it wasn't.
That's what we talked about previously on a podcast. Like, I was made to think like Graceland was like Mount Rushmore, like this huge like White House. But it was so like eye-opening. It's just a normal house, and it's really not that big. Like, I mean, for the time, I feel like it was definitely bigger than what, you know, most people were used to. But when you go there, I mean, it really wasn't that big of a place, which just puts everything into perspective because, I mean, they were so grateful for that big of a house. So it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that just, they were normal. They were a family.
Yeah.
That lived in this home.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess also what you can do is if you don't have a tour guide, you could do self-guided tours, and they give you headphones and stuff, but you don't have to do that. And luckily enough, of course, we prepped mom into watching things or doing her studies on Elvis. I feel like it could have been a way different experience because a lot of people just stop through Memphis or just go there and maybe they know a little bit about Elvis, but they're not like us. So I'm sure that's a really different experience other than like us having it where we just wanted to go because we knew so much about him to see it. I guess, do you think it would have been way different if we hadn't conditioned you? And
Oh, yeah.
we were her tour
And shout out to our girl who took them on a tour so that they are now they were my tour guide. And they were able to tell me all the things that were shared with them on their tour. And it was awesome because there was a lot of times the three of them would be walking in front of me somewhere and I just was standing behind looking at them and just thinking, wow. This is, who would have thought if you would have asked me 10 years ago that this would be something that we would do? Because we've always taken trips and either just the four of us or we'd meet up with family or friends and have a vacation time. But it was it's different. It was different. It was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Emotional.
And Elvis Week is so much fun, and we're going to talk about everything like we got to do that was very fun. But ultimately, that's what everyone is there for, is for Elvis and to see Elvis's house. Like, that's one of the biggest things. You can't go to Graceland and you can not see his house, but it's sad because, especially after watching everything, I'm sure you felt a little bit of that. He's never going to be there again.
Yeah.
You'll never get to know what it was like to see him walk in there. It's almost fake. Like, for me, every time I'm up close to Graceland, it looks fake. I'm like, there's no way this was Elvis's house, but it was. And it's so cool that we got to take you. And like you said, like, I would have never imagined that this would be our life. And getting, like, to go inside Elvis Presley's house multiple times and then take you there, like, that seems like something, like, people really can't do, but it is. Like, it's open to the public for that reason. And so I'm just really glad that we got to take you in there. And we made sure to do that on, like, the first day. So she could get that over with. Not over with, but I wanted that to be the first thing.
It was an emotional day.
Mm-hmm.
Certain rooms, his mother's room, standing in the doorway of her room and looking at her bed and knowing the stories he himself told or others told about how he would go down and spend time with his mother, and then the closet. I remember I looked in the closet and they had a few of her items in there, but that's not what I was looking at. I remember the sobbing Elvis that went in her closet and clung to her clothes
From the movie.
And I'm thinking, that's where he was.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to describe. I think the best thing if you're going to make this trip is do your homework. Watch the movies that are available out there, the documentaries, read, listen to audiobooks. That worked out really great, except that, I just couldn't do it in little bits and pieces. It drove me nuts. I wanted to just keep listening, and, well, you have to work. You have to do the things you got to do. But right up to the very last plane ride home, I shed tears.
She was.
Yeah.
I knew she was going to cry. But, but that's so awesome feeling for us. It's like, yes, worked. Because I don't know. I don't want to ever shove Elvis down anyone's throat. I want people to understand.
Well, we don't want to force it. Like,
no.
If Elvis isn't for you, that's perfectly okay. But it's so nice to, like, take someone who, on a surface level, Mom's first big thing was like, I get to dress up and I get to have this fun trip. But we also want people to take a part of it, like the emotional and like the more deep meaning behind things. And that was cool to see, like, Mom could have certain attachments to different aspects of Elvis's life. So,
I mean, and I would listen to the other tour guides talking to the other groups, and then my girls could tell me stories that I didn't hear going on with them, like, you know, the crazy bullet holes that were shot when they'd go out and shoot, and hearing about that stuff or reading about that stuff ahead of time, and then standing looking at it or being able to touch that area and think,
crazy.
oh my gosh, I mean, I'm here.
Yeah. So that was cool.
day 2.
Yeah, that was, well, actually, we ended that night at the soundstage. We went to Salute to the 50s.
Oh, that was fun, yeah.
So we all dressed up, like, not hardcore, but in our 50s
In the
outfits.
50s.
And I think it was just, like, ETA performers. It wasn't the competition yet. So I just missed that. I love going to concerts every single night, pretty much. Like, getting dressed up and going to concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's like we always knew we had our big event for the evening.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was day 2. And then day 3, we toured the museum. So the nice thing at Elvis Week is you can buy these bracelets. And so,
which we highly recommend.
Spend the money on them, because we went back to those almost every single day to take pictures.
And they were like, yeah, you could take your time to get, like, the poses you wanted, or, like, if you wanted to learn more about something, you could go back the next day. You don't have to fill it all in one day.
Yeah, or you need something to do.
I mean, there was just so much.
So that's why we saved it. We didn't even take Mom to the museums that first day.
No, we just...
So we went in and we spent a good chunk of time doing, you know, pictures, showing her all the museums. And that's when we wore I have one of the shirts on, but we all had matching shirts that day. So we wore those and we got some compliments on them. And that was fun, kind of walking around. It's kind of like a campus.
Yeah. That's kind of
Which all the shirts, though, are, like, homemade. So, you know, they all made them. And so we all wore personalized ones, which I think is just so cool. Like, it was kind of what we did in December with our sweatshirts. But, you know, we did it with T-shirts because sweatshirts would have been deadly.
And that was when everyone started to recognize us, because then from every day on, people would be like, hey, it's the T-shirt girls, or hey, it's the girls, or look at, you know, it's the mom and the girls. So,
which is fun, because it was, like, kind of nice little challenge to be like, we spent so much time on these outfits that it was nice to kind of get recognized.
But it was fun to be able to say that to other people, because you would see these older ladies that...
dressed to a T.
Oh, yeah. But they've probably seen him in concert, or, you know, were little and can remember him alive. And, I mean, some of those ladies had really snazzy outfits on, and they went all out, too. And, you know, I don't know, the whole feeling at Graceland is good. It makes you want to be kind and, like, you're amongst friends. So... I was complimenting people all the time, and I was getting compliments. I mean, why not tell them that? I mean, they're living that same dream I am, having those same emotions I am, and they need to have that feel-good experience. And I'm telling you, people will tell you whether you expect it or not. They will make comments. They'll open the door. People are kind there.
Hey, especially them T-shirts. Lewis Brown, he's one of the ETA. Well, he was runner
second
up.
place.
He said that he liked our shirts, so,
and that made Katie have a little heart melt.
Yeah, I mean, he was, like, my favorite one, I think, other than Dean Z, but, like, he was one that I was rooting for. I mean, I was screaming his name in the crowds. I was hoping he wins.
He's definitely an ETA for the young girls.
Yeah, I think,
and he's so young.
But I think also with the outfits, there is no other place, maybe we just haven't been there, that you can go and dress up 50s, 60s, 70s. And I mean, like, be transported back in time. Like, because you could do that to your day-to-day life, but people are not going to be like, oh, dressing up with you. So it is something where it's like you get to also experience Elvis, but also experience those time, like, periods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what day are we on now? What day was that?
Well, the day's not over. That night we went to the first round of
ETA.
Right.
ETA competition. So there was only 2 nights. So you had to do good in this one, and I think they kept 10 people for the next one. So 10 people went through, and I thought everyone did really good.
Yeah.
Like I thought everyone sounded pretty close to Elvis. So that was really fun.
None of them
That
were
was
bad,
fun.
but to get it to that competition, you have to win smaller competitions around the world.
Right.
So that were very good.
So we did that, and that was day
And just
3.
a little side note, Kitty was quite lucky because for whatever reason, we had several shuttle rides that her heartthrob favorite Elvis
Which,
was on the shuttle with us. And then I always, every morning when I went down to get my coffee, would run into him.
Mm-hmm.
He'd walk by and say hi, and I'd get back to the room.
See,
And I'd
that's
be like, guess who I saw?
I didn't run into him that much, but Mom was running into him left and right.
Well, here's the thing, though. When Katie would run into him, she'd be so scared to talk to him. She'd just stand there and stare.
Well, because I'm just a
Which
girl.
it is that's the cool thing. Like when you stay at the guest house, you get to see all those people, and we'll talk more about who we got to see there and who we got to meet and take pictures with. But it's like everyone stays there. So you're with celebrities, you're with all these huge people who knew Elvis. You just walk past them and you don't know how to react.
Like my guy, Larry.
Larry Strickland. Like, you know how many times we walk past him or by the pool?
Oh,
We're at the pool, and he's just right there. So it's great, but also, we're still shy. We're getting more comfortable.
But not only that, we were very respectful. We feel like they're there to spend their time.
Yeah.
We didn't want to bother any of them. So, you did have the people asking for pictures, and I think you guys got a picture at one point in time, but at the same time, we were just trying to be very respectful of their time and let them enjoy
it is nerve-wracking. I mean, it is very intimidating, especially the really big ones, but even like the ETA performers, because you see them up on stage and then they walk around and it's like,
I know, it's like,
oh my gosh, like they're right there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was cool. That first night we had a good time. We also dressed up, but we made sure to pretty much dress up every night. So that was day 3. Day 4, this was probably one of my favorite days. So in the morning we went to the gospel show. So we wore kind of churchy outfits and really cute dainty dresses, and that was a really good show.
I took a lot from what's his name?
David Lee.
Mm-hmm. David Lee. He
made
really
me cry
touched-
with his emotions and
He touched me
his gospel.
with his speech he gave, and I don't know, just
Yeah, and the vocals
So
were
good.
amazing from some of those ETA past winners. Wow, it was really hard. I was trying not to cry because Elvis was known for his gospel music, and these people have
that was
really
his-
good voices too.
I feel like his best music, his only award-winning music.
Mm-hmm. So that was hard because I don't know. You just think about a lot of things.
It was so powerful.
And of course, singing the song that was at our grandma's funeral was
we did not expect that.
Peace in the Valley. I'm like, oh.
We all cried on that one.
My
That was
gosh,
a rough
why
one.
is this guy playing so much here? So anyway, it was really cool because I felt like Grandma was always with us. We'd always get these signs and songs. So, which at the vigil, we'll talk about it when we get there. But another song from her funeral, but we didn't even know Elvis sang, was on. So that was really cool. So we went to the gospel show. I think we went and had lunch, and then we took pictures in a lot of our outfits. So we would just walk through the museums to get pictures. And that night was, we dressed up in 70s attire, and it was the switch of the 70s night.
That was one of my favorite nights, that one in Vegas. But that one was, that was so fun because we really love the 70s. That's why we're doing the Jet Suit Gems. That was his, most iconic, I feel, in our opinion. So
yeah, it was fun.
Such a good night.
Yep, and we got a lot
Good
of
performers.
I was so sparkly that night.
Mm-hmm.
She was.
That again is another picture that's on the thing, right?
Which was, I think that was the first time we saw Larisha, right? She came up because I remember I was standing there, and all of a sudden I like look over, and she like meets my eyes, and she just recognized us immediately, and she ran over to she's like, ah, she's like, oh my god, it's you guys.
So we introduced her to Mom, and
She loved Mom.
Which Larisha was our very first tour guide at Graceland. And so we've just had that connection with her. And sometimes you don't know people are going to remember you because we only were with her for one day.
And they see so many people there.
They see people every day. Yeah, so, but she found us and she came up to us and...
Several times.
That was the first day that she saw us. And then we saw her quite a bit after that.
Yep.
So yeah, that was day 4. Day 5, we went to the museums again, probably just got coffee, took our time getting ready. We had a pool day in the morning. We went down to the pool. That's when we saw Larry. And we didn't have anything to do other than the ETA finals. That's when we found out who won the competition. Those were really fun. Those are really nerve-wracking, but it happened so fast too. Like I can't even imagine. Like it happened fast for us in the audience. I can't even imagine. You sing these 2 songs and then hopefully you go through,
Yep.
But so I was really happy with the results because I feel like every year it's been like the people who mostly are known for the 70s Elvis.
Yeah.
But a big part of Elvis is the 50s.
Yeah.
And there was the 3 finalists. I think they were all 50s Elvis.
Yes, they were.
All of them?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Except,
But there was 2.
what's his name? Lewis.
Yeah. So there was 2 50s and 1 70s.
Was there? Yeah, 3. No, it was top 5? What was it?
Top 3.
5. I thought it
Top
was
5 and then
Top
top
5.
3. Oh, and then top 3 was 50s and then Lewis. But so anyway, sorry, that was a rant there. But Emilio won, and he was the 50s Elvis, and he did so good. Like
Which,
he
I mean, the
knows
50s,
how
I
to
don't
do
love
it.
it, but like he was Elvis from the 50s. I mean,
He captured
yeah.
all
his
of us.
charisma was so good.
He's got it.
But a lot of them that do the 50s, I think they're young, so they start out in the 50s, and I think once you mature more, they usually go to the 70s because all 70s ETA are usually older.
And that's why I like them.
Which I don't know. I thought they all did good.
They all did amazing.
Everyone did amazing. But I mean, Emilio, I mean,
He earned it, yeah.
a breath of fresh air too because he does the 50s really well.
Yep.
And his voice is amazing. So you can all those songs he does, you're like, oh yeah, like I remember this song or I love this song. Whereas of course, like we hear a lot of the 60s to 70s music from the other ones.
Yeah, over and over.
Even though they're great, I was happy because I'm like, well, at least the 50s got some recognition.
Yep.
So we did that. That was day 5. And then day 6, it was another pool morning. And all we had that night was back in Memphis. So.
Which that was a cool concert. I mean, it was all of the live recording. And recording in Memphis. So they told us a lot of history, which was really cool. Taught us a little bit, because, I mean, you learn something every trip down there. So,
And we really didn't feel rushed to go to all our things, but we had a pretty busy schedule.
Yeah.
Because we are planners and
sleepers.
Yes. And
we like to sleep in.
And truly, we were on vacation. So we got to have those days where we could just chill and kind of get our...
Which was really nice.
Yeah. It was like being on vacation, but being in heaven. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could run into anybody going to grab a coffee or going to the pool. It was like, you never know who you're going to see.
Yeah.
Yep, so that was day 6, and then day 7, this is one of my favorite days. So we had a really easy morning, breakfast, we walked around to more of the gift shops, museums, took more pictures, but then we got to go back to the hotel and start getting ready for the Elvis Fan Choice Awards. This was like our first red carpet. Like they laid out a red carpet, like we were the first ones to walk it. We were first in line, other than like the more famous people in front of us. But yeah, we got to wear really fancy dresses, and
that was fun.
it was an award show.
I loved that one. I wore a dress and it was super long, and
We
last
literally
minute
tailored it in the room. I had to do alterations to it, which we did them quick, and it turned out pretty good. But yeah, that was funny.
It was crazy. It was a lot of fun, but also it's really just sad because I mean, of course, Elvis won in every category. Like they did, best on-screen kiss, best how award shows are, and then like Linda came out and presented.
Didn't Austin Butler win?
Austin Butler won the best actor to play Elvis, so we got to see a little video from him.
Like that was crazy because he made that for us, and I was like, if he would have shown up on that stage, I would have dropped dead on that chair, or I would have sprinted up there and said, "Oh my gosh, please sign my face."
But I think the most, I think I did cry. But when Jerry came out, Jerry Schilling, he was a friend of Elvis's, pretty much like a brother to him. And it's sad because he comes out and he is just so happy because everyone cheers for him. Everyone loves Jerry. But to hear him talk and he still just calls him to my friend. He doesn't, he calls him Elvis, but he says my friend, my best friend. And it's sad because I can't even imagine what it'd be like to lose one of your best friends. I mean, the most famous person in the world. And he was there for a lot of that. To lose him so young, but then for the rest of his life, he's... all these things are happening, and he's just standing up there, seeing the effect of Elvis. That would be really hard on me.
Yeah.
That would be so hard.
I wonder how many conversations he has with Elvis about, man, you couldn't have been more wrong.
Exactly. So it was awesome, but it's sad because it's like Elvis should have won all these awards. Elvis should have been more, taken more serious in his roles, but it was awesome because we were all just there celebrating him all night. Yep. It was an award show for Elvis.
Yep.
So
that was great.
That was fun, but it was tiring. That's when I started getting tired, I think, that day of the waking up, getting ready, the pictures, I was like, oh my gosh. But we still had quite a bit of days left after that. So we just went home and probably crashed.
Well, we need to add in, after all of our concerts and all of our events, we would walk back to the guest house, and we'd always go to the Isa EP Bar and Grill, and we'd have a very special waiter, who literally just made our day. He was so sweet.
Shout out to Ryan.
Oh, peace! She threw a peace sign for you.
He's gonna be watching this one, and I told him that we're gonna.
We miss you.
We do miss you.
Yes.
And I feel like we've had a lot of different waiters and stuff at Graceland, and especially when you do it every single day, you can tell that some of them are just not over their job, but it probably gets hard with how many people, especially during Elvis week, to keep your cool, and they work all day. They work long shifts.
Yeah.
But Ryan was so smiley. He was so happy to see us, and so every day we would go back and say hi. We wouldn't get him every single time, but we loved him so much that if he didn't even wait at our table and we didn't even get to see him, we'd walk up to him at when we were leaving and give him a $20 bill.
But
we don't do that to anyone.
No, but even if he wasn't waiting on us, he would still sometimes bring us our drinks and make sure we were well taken care of.
He was such a good kid.
He's and he did really good at his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also got to ask him what his story was and where he's from, and do you even know anything about Elvis? And he said he did his research and he seems like he's a good guy.
Which is just so sweet because I don't know, I feel like it's not everyone's cup of tea, but he answered it in such a respectful way,
And his face would just light up when he'd see us walk through, and he knew we were going to come in, and we would tell him if we were having different plans, and so he wouldn't worry and be looking for us. And I would pass him in the hallway outside of the restaurant too. I would run into him and always smile. Hello, how are you? Just a great kid.
Yeah. Hopefully he's there when we go back in March.
Hopefully, please.
Yes.
We need to see him again. So Ryan, if you're watching this, you're awesome.
And we miss you.
So, yeah, he would know our routine because we would do
And
the
you know
same
what we
thing.
drank?
Yeah, he knew our drinks.
Our drinks would be spot on.
Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. And that's what makes memories too. Like, we'll remember that. And he even told us, like, there was a lot of people there at Elvis Week, and he's like, you guys are my favorite. And it's because, I don't know, we just shared kindness to him. You know, we just gave him time of day. And I think that's something too that is, I've noticed there's so many people. I'm not saying everyone does it, but you can tell people just go in there and eat and leave.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people and they have somewhere to get to. But we made sure to always be early to things so we can, you know, have our time there and make sure we're giving everyone like the respect because we got it back.
Yeah.
Also. So
yeah,
Ryan was a perfect example of that.
And I will say, just a shout out because I just thought of, because right across is the Shake, Rattle, and Row. No, goodness gracious. Shake, Rattle, and Go coffee shop.
Yeah.
There we go. And if you love peanut butter cookies, let me just tell you,
Oh my gosh.
I had to go get one. And I was going to ask for a glass of milk.
Day, Caitlin. Every single day.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to think about it. You're
Cookies
walking it
were
off. So,
good.
oh my goodness, it was soft and chocolatey, but not too sweet. But
They
So-
needed to serve brownies. They don't serve brownies anywhere there.
I guess brownies isn't a thing.
Losing out.
I thought you were going to sneeze.
I just had to yawn. Sorry.
I mean, we are filming this. It's already 11.
It's very
PM.
late at night right now.
Yeah.
So we did that Fan Choice Awards. Now, you know, we're on day 8. Things are going to start to get heavy because we all know why we're here. Elvis Week is a big celebration, but it's also because, you know, the candlelight vigil, you know, you celebrate the day he actually passed. So it's all fun. And I feel like that's when the shift changes and we could feel the change in people. Everyone was having so much fun. And then, you know, day 8, we walked to the meditation garden because that was the day before Elvis died. So everything is set up. You know, he's got every fan club would send flowers and pictures of him. So you would walk there from the hotel and you can walk up to his grave. So we did. And that's when we left a little piece of grandma there. Grace, who was on our very first podcast, her grandpa, you know, as we were talking about, he died. So I got him a keychain there with his name on it. And we set that down. And you could just tell it was very sad. What do you think?
It was emotional.
And you could just tell people were more laid back and slow, and it was very quiet, I feel like.
Right. I mean, you could hear where there was always Elvis music in the background, but for some reason, the sound of the water just really overcame the music. People were respectful in the garden and did not like carry on. Even children were calm. It was weird for me, but at the same time, it was emotional. It was a tribute to my mom to be able to be there because a memory I'll never forget is when the girls went to Graceland the first time and they FaceTimed with my mom down at the gates of Graceland, and her expression, I can hear her voice, how excited she was because, that woman loved Elvis. And we tried to make it work for a trip for her. And it wasn't meant to be, but she is luckier than us because she is now archived in the Graceland archive.
She wins. She's there.
Yeah, she gets to be
stuck there
there
forever.
always.
Yeah. So that was pretty heavy, but it was nice. And then literally right after that, we timed it. So we walked across to the sound stage and then we had conversations on Elvis. So that was like Larry Geller, his hairdresser came on.
He is such a cool guy. I love him.
He was just talking.
And he told us what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, he told you the real stuff that no one probably wants out. And, like, everyone kept being like, all right, you're talking too much. And he knew it. But I would pay to just sit in a room with him and listen to him talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he came on. Linda talked. It was just talking about Elvis, and some stories are that you've never been out, or that something I didn't know. So that was really fun to just hear from people who were around Elvis, because that's always really special.
Who had real memories, like not the performer, the everyday in his life, you know, and who probably were the people who broke through so we could all really get to know who Elvis really was. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Very heart touching. And not everything's pretty, but they didn't sugarcoat it, and they were honest, and yet they were almost proud because they were there with him. So
The last real connection with Elvis.
yes.
Just the people who actually got to be part of his life.
Yeah, that was special. I mean, it was a long day for us because I think we went back to the hotel and then we got ready.
We got comfy clothes.
It was so hot out
because
and we were about to go to the candlelight vigil. So not only did we go early, I mean, you have to go early if you don't want to be in the very back of the line. So people start going out around like 4. I mean, in the morning, some people are crazy and they'll go wait at the very front and be there all day. But they do close down the road at a certain time. And we walked over there around, 6?
6, yeah.
And the gates opened, at 8? And the line was so long. Like, to even get through security.
3.5.
It wasn't that long.
Start to finish for us.
People were trying to, I think, scare us and warn us. Like, you're going to be out there for 7 hours.
Yeah, they made it sound like a lot. No, it was 3.5 hours, but it also was August. It was
my gosh, that was the worst.
We were dripping wet. Like, dripping
and
wet.
And we had sweat. Dinner before, we ate at the fancy. Didn't we eat at, the fancy restaurant that night? So, 1 hour before, we were stuffed, and it was hot, and we were all just sweating. I mean, I had a fan, a hand fan, that I had to manually do, and I was just fanning, and then I felt bad for other people that were walking by, so I was fanning them, but secretly doing it, so it just acted like I was doing it, because they looked like they were going to pass out. I was so hot.
I will say, every turn, oh my gosh, it was just a maze of just a long line. And so I had to go back and forth, and at every corner they would offer water. So that was very smart of them.
And on the walk up, they have water available. And so, they strategically placed that for folks to have some hydration.
Do we want to talk about the opening ceremony?
Yeah. So we were finally in line. They'll start to hand out, if you haven't went before, they'll start to hand out your candles. And so you all have your candles, and then music is playing the whole time, Elvis music, so you can sing along. That helped us because we were really hot, and it was starting to get scary. You felt like you were gonna faint. It was so hot out. It was a heat warning. The index was really high, and so we're all suffering. But of course, we're doing this for Elvis. So it starts to get dark outside, and that's when when we lit our candles and held them into the sky. That is when I started oh my gosh, don't cry. I was wow, his house is up there. We're going to go up and walk up to his grave. It was very emotional because I've seen it on camera. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen other people's because I wanted to see what it looked like. And I get so jealous of not being there. So actually being there, it is crazy because I think 10,000 people came and walked through. So, we started our walk. It was very slow. It was hot, but once you get closer, I feel it wasn't so bad.
You're forgetting about the song
because it's they did the opening ceremony, and then they also did
what made us start crying hard.
Oh yeah, I mentioned this earlier. What is it called? What's the title?
Loving Arms.
Loving Arms was played at our grandma's funeral by the Dixie Chicks, and I had no idea that Elvis sang it, and so it started playing right before we walked through, and that's when I started crying a little bit.
That really
and I was
got us.
Oh my gosh!
I feel that was just Grandma's little way of letting us know, because when we knew Grandma was dying, we had a talk with her, and we tried to discuss how do you want your funeral? Like, we wanted her to be in control. And, I mean, she's like, I don't want all the Elvis songs going. So we picked, like, a good, array of different artists. And the fact that, like, right before we went and started walking, it was almost like her little, like, nudge at us being like,
I was like, no way.
We all looked at each other like, oh my goodness. Because I was crying a little bit before that because, they were doing the ceremony and stuff. But what really got me was, you're standing around hundreds of people. And some of them, like I said, do not speak English, are from, like, I think I saw people from, like, Belgium, Australia, the UK, Italy, like, all of these people. And the energy in there, it's like, I just got so, like, not sad, but I started crying because it's like all these people came and moved mountains to be here in this moment, and we're all here. We're all holding a, candle. We're all singing this song together.
40 some years. We're
47
all still doing this.
That was one of my favorite things. And then that song came on, and I think we just lost it.
Well, it's a crazy feeling. Like, everyone was just sad. You could see on their face. Everyone, it was so serious. Like, there was no laughing. Like, there was no joking. Because as you get closer and closer, you realize, like, and his house is right there, and you can't even describe what it's like. And it's just so sad because, yeah, like you said, people are coming from around the world, and people are passing out, like, could barely stand up. I mean, we're chugging water when we can go get it.
There's a couple of people that had to get kind of escorted out because they had to get checked in.
Yeah, their EMTs were right on there.
Because, again, I mean, there's a lot of young people, but, like, that's an older population who really loved Elvis.
It was worrisome looking.
Mm-hmm. It was getting pretty scary because we're all drenched in sweat, but then you saw these older people who could barely, I mean, they're just drenched. Like, I felt so bad. I can't even imagine if we felt like that.
And standing for long periods of time.
But that just shows you what they're willing to
do.
Dedication. Yeah.
Their love for Elvis was bigger than their need to sit.
Them ladies did not faint until they got up to that grave. And then I think, they finally got up there. Like, I'm good.
Which was really weird was once we entered those gates, I wasn't hot or sick anymore. Mm-hmm. I was like, I told them, I said, every time I stopped fanning myself, I felt like I was getting dizzy, black in my eyes. Like, I was almost passing out. It's like almost throwing up. Like, I was scared. Like, I've never felt that heat.
It was a lot more cooler when we walked past the gates.
It was like, I felt fine. I felt good. I mean, I was still sad, but I was like, I'm okay. Like, it was weird. It's like he healed us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and then so we finally got up to there because it took a long time. We were walking really slow.
And it was so hard with the candle wax.
It was. The wax was melting everywhere.
Me. Mom dumped it on me because she didn't realize she had so much wax build up and, like, the liquid, and my flame went out. And so she just tipped hers completely at a 90-degree angle. Oh, it burnt me. Mm-hmm. It got all over my hand, down my arm.
Yeah.
It was not on...
How was that as a mother?
That was not on purpose, and I was just trying to light your candle for you.
I did not cuss. What did I say?
Step back.
Nope. I said, like, God damn it or something.
No, you did, and everyone stared.
I said it so loud, but, like, at the same time...
That's something Elvis would do.
You get hot wax dumped on you and then see if you can stay quiet.
Yeah, so, like, at that point, we were right before we were going to go walk up to his grave. So, I mean, it was getting a little bit, like...
It was getting a lot.
It was getting to be a lot. But then we walked up there, and it kind of sucks because you've been waiting in line for how many hours, and then you get, like, 1 second at his grave.
That was hard because, like, everyone's, like, really pushing at that point.
So, I don't know. The whole time it was sad, and then you're rushed at the grave. But I remember coming around the corner, and I saw Larisha, and, she, like, waves at us. And I just, like, felt this urge, like, push to go give her a hug. And
you were crying?
I started crying. And then she started crying. And we just hugged each other really hard. I just felt like I needed to do that. And so that's what I was like, oh, God. I was like, this is so sad. Like, why am I so sad? But, and then walking down was cool because we thought, we had been in line for a long time. And then you walk down and the people are just still all the way. We're walking past all these people who haven't even made it up there yet. So, I don't know. That was just a cool experience.
It It was a good night, and then it was nice. We went and got some water and drinks.
Yep, I got
We
3
chugged
drinks.
3
Literally
drinks.
3
We
drinks.
went
Oh,
back to the
Felt
hotel room. We all had to shower, and we all crashed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good end to the night.
Yeah, that was
And
a
then what
lot.
did we have to do the next day? Because I think we had to wake up a little early.
The next day, no, we let me see here. Oh yeah, we did actually because we had the Elvis Unplugged with Dean Z.
But that was at the hotel. That was at like the
where they play the movies in theater.
So that was nice. We kind of got in a casual, kind of dressy, and we went and
Yeah,
got to
he
see him
did an
perform.
amazing job.
And that's
Wasn't
when
it him and Spencer? And then who was the other girl?
So it had Spencer Sutherland. He's really big right now, and so I think that was so cool that he gets to go and.
He's got a cool vibe.
Yeah, he's a really cool vibe.
Cool.
So Spencer came out and sang, what's her name? Jillian Cardarelli.
yes,
She came on and she sang "If I Could Talk to Elvis" and sang a little bit.
And Larry
Strickland came out. But it was so cool because like Linda Thompson was just in the same room filming these
Yeah,
performances.
just sitting there.
she was just
with her
sitting in the
flash on.
audience.
And yeah, I mean, at that point, Dean's said his voice was starting to. He was singing all week, but he still did great.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
kudos
So-
to those performers who sing nonstop all week.
That was really fun. That was like a little like, because, I mean, we love Dean Z, but we barely got to see him like twice.
For me, that particular concert was almost like going to an open mic or a rehearsal with Elvis because Dean stopped and he talked and he asked Spencer questions, or when he was talking to Jillian, I mean, and then yet he would start singing
It was
and
almost like a
playing his
talk-
guitar.
It was like a talk show too. Like that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
that was so
it
cool
was-
to see. Like they would perform, but then also like you could see them interact as like a human being and discuss. And I don't know. I just think it was so
it
cool.
was cool.
It was cool.
And you're so close. Like the theater's not very big, so the fact that you got to
We
be
had good
close.
seats. Yeah, that was fun. And then we didn't really have anything to do till nighttime because it was Return to Vegas, which that was probably the coolest concert.
Oh, I loved it.
So I wasn't sure what to expect. I heard there was going to be some cool surprises. So literally in our spots just were so good. They played almost his whole first set of his very first concert at Vegas.
Well, and then they had his live music kind of on behind, and you could see like him in the videos, and he was singing. But then he also had like the backups of like the performers. So it was so cool to have.
That was crazy. My
actual
chest,
live
my heart
backup
was like
singers.
beating because it felt like
I was there.
I was like, whoa, this is what it felt like.
To be at his concert.
It was like a movie, like on like Max. Like it was so.
like 3D.
You got transported
because
into time.
Yeah, it was
people
more than
were-
3D. It was like 5D. Like you were so
Yeah.
there. It was just so
it
cool.
was awesome.
But also, like, there was people on stage who used to like work for Elvis, and
that actually
See, sung
Performed with
Elvis,
him.
performed.
and it was sad because they would look up at him
Oh yeah.
on like they would because he was singing the same time they were playing the instruments and stuff. It was really cool. It's one of those concerts where they like have a live band, and that was sad because I kept watching them watch Elvis because they saw that in person. So I can't even imagine what that felt like. Or you could tell they thought it was really cool. So that was awesome because I've never seen that kind of footage like that all the way through, and everyone was it was so quiet in there because everyone was just watching him. Like, I'm sure that's what it felt like in concert, but that's the closest thing we got to being at Elvis's concert.
yeah.
And
that was by far my favorite performance.
And that was the
It
night
was.
that we took a photo. Was it the jumpsuit gems in the jumpsuit room?
oh yeah, that's when we decided. So all week we, like we said in one of our last episodes, that's how we came up with the name. It took us like the whole Elvis week to think of a cool name, and so once we figured out the jumpsuit gems, we were like, oh my gosh, we should go take pictures because we were in our Vegas outfits, and so that's where our picture comes from, is that night. So if you're ever wondering, you can know that was the day that we went in there and took those. So thanks, Mom,
for being our
taking-
camera lady,
taking those pictures.
taking our photos.
That was the night I wore the black
Yeah, you look good with the black scarf.
You were taking some
Heels.
selfies in there.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, that place makes you feel like you were
That made
one
mom,
of Elvis's
that place made
girlfriends.
mom feel like she was on top of the world.
And young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am young, but
Yeah.
younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that concert was awesome. Starting to get really tired. Not really wanting to go home, but it was like the change in moods of everyone, and people had left at that point. Like, that was people's last day, or the day before was. So, like, after the vigil, people go home. So, this was our last, so that was day 9, and then day 10 was our last full, like, day of things to do. We didn't have anything till,
Our flight.
no, this day was the 50 sock hop.
Oh, day 9?
Day 9. So we're on day 9 right now. And we got dressed up. We just chilled all day, slept in, did our makeup, you know, had lunch. Started packing because that was going to take forever. We didn't want to think about how that was going to be.
That day, we also tried to order a scale because we knew our suitcases were going to be, like, heavy.
We got all messed up.
We got 3 DoorDashes stolen from us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the drivers went and picked up our stuff and stole it. Oh, that was a bad day.
So we were just like, I don't know. Is anyone even going to be at this thing? Well, there was quite a few people, and then we waited in line. We wore all our really cute
sock hop attire.
We have a picture with Ryan, actually, that I should upload in this attire. Mm-hmm. So that was really fun because that was we're not really 50s girls.
I looked like a little girl. Like, literally.
She had, like, a comb over, like
I looked.
You were cute.
It was
like a cute little girl, yeah.
Like, every day, it was almost like a costume.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was just another day for us.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to do.
And we got to VIP up our spots and sit at a table with our new Elvis family member, Patricia from New York.
Yeah,
miss you.
So funny.
Shout out to
so funny.
Patricia. I know you're going to watch it.
Get another peace sign.
Yeah, she was awesome. We got to sit with her.
She's so funny.
And they just did like a big like buffet of food, and then we watched the movie Loving You with Elvis. And
Which I've never watched that, and that's a good movie.
it's a good movie. So
I feel so bad because Elvis thought all of his movies were like just so like.
But also, some people really hate on him and say that he was
so good.
He was like a bad actor, and I think he's amazing.
He's
I just memorized the whole time. I just couldn't stop staring at him.
yeah, so we watched the movie, and then afterwards they opened up the dance floor.
Oh
These
my
people
God.
didn't. Okay, they didn't want to dance, but when I'm in Graceland, I'm telling you, I don't dance anywhere else.
Yeah, Liz isn't a dancer anywhere else, but then she was like, "I'm really feeling this," and me and Caitlin are not dancers, and she drug us out.
I even made Mom go out because I was like, "Who cares? This is
Mom
our
and
last
her
night."
Burnt out hip at that point.
Yeah, Mom could barely walk. She's in so much pain, but whatever. And so
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And so I was like, let's just go dance. And it was fun at first. I was like, dang, this is really fun. And then
Until the freaking cameras came out of everywhere.
yeah, I don't even know where all those pictures are. But it was fun. We just literally danced the night away.
danced. Got buttons. I was off rhythm.
There were people walking around with buttons, giving them out, and like anytime someone asked, like, "Oh, I haven't gotten any," and we got like bags of buttons.
We're like, yeah, well, we got one too.
Mm-hmm. So we all danced, made Mom dance, and then that was the first night that I met Sky from the Pink Cadillacs. So that was awesome that I got to meet her and have a little conversation. That like was really sweet for me. And then we walked back to the guest house, and by that point, everyone was gone.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, it was dead. So we went upstairs, went to sleep, and then knew the next morning was the day we had to fly home, which I feel like flying days are always like, oh, I have to get up early. It's check out. We paid an extra amount
for
to stay till 2 because we didn't have to be at the airport till 6?
Yeah,
our
6
flight was at
p.m.
6.
Yeah, so we went and had lunch. Like, we went and swam, and the pool was dead. It was so awesome. Like, the pool...
I wish was over at that point. So.
It was over, but, like, we swam for a couple hours, and the water was perfect and just the Elvis music playing, and you're just like, man, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to reality. Like, I want to stay here forever.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And so that's when we were just like, how do we make this our lives?
Yeah.
Because,
how do we live here?
but it's like, I just don't want to leave, because once you're in the Elvis world, it makes it really hard to think, how am I going to go back to just my regular job, regular life, and not be involved in this? Because you feel like you're in a different world, dressing up, going to concerts, meeting all these cool people, like, just, I don't know, it was hard to go back. But so yeah, we had a pretty easy time flying back. Like, it was just a really easy travel day.
Well, our flights got delayed.
Flights got delayed, so we got home really late.
Yeah.
But
And I think it's just like Grayson, like Liz, she posted a post, and I think it was when it was like what Grayson looks like and then what it actually feels like, and it's basically of us looking cute, and then like the next one's like her choking me or something, and I'm like, well, like, when did we do that in our home? Like, when did we take that? And I was like, wait, that's not our home. That's literally the guest house. I was like, wait a second here. I just was like, that is our second home, though. Like, that was crazy to me to think that. I can see it as just our home, because you feel so comfortable there. Like, you know where everything's at. Like, you're like, I know what to do. Like, I'm not, like, stressed out or have anxiety.
don't get it twisted. We fought a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
We
can't
fought.
not know us. If you know us,
Well, let's preface.
Hurting people's feelings so bad they leave the hotel room.
Yeah. That and Miss Amy, she was always an hour at least behind because she liked to leave the hotel room and take breaks or go walk around and take too long to come back, and then she would be so stressed.
I met people and would talk.
How many outfit changes did you have last minute? Because you would tripped on the blue suede carpet.
So yeah, every night basically, even though like you can go check out our TikToks. We made a TikTok every single day. So all this stuff we were talking about is on our Cassini sisters TikTok.
Yeah.
So
you'll see
it
videos.
looked great, but every night it was like we would start getting ready early, but then mom would come up be late and she'd be like, well, I'm not going because I don't know what I'm going to wear.
I
and
can't
you
wear
guys are
this.
rushing
This
me.
looks so stupid. I'm going to look
I
so
feel
stupid.
silly.
I feel so silly. Yeah, it was. We were starting to have
But
emotions.
we all did that too. We were fighting. Like, I had to do a lot.
Well, on your
of hair.
first trip, did you not feel nervous how to dress?
Okay.
On our first trip, though, we only had a carry-on, and we had to wear the same outfit all day.
Oh.
So I think maybe that takes the anxiety out of it, where like you don't have choices.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. We did
you're
really
also
fight
just
a lot.
late by heart, and I think at this day and age, there's no fix in those bad habits.
Yeah.
So
But
maybe next time we go, we can get a suite or something. Make
But
it a lot
it's
easier.
I
like-
want to so bad.
I really hope we can one day. But, like, it is nice, the guest house, because you don't really have to leave. Like, there's two
Everything you
you don't
restaurants.
need
There.
transportation. Like,
No.
if you're going to leave, they have a free shuttle. And during Elvis Week, they have shuttles throughout the whole day. And they extend their hours later at night because they know that their events go to, like, 9 or 10.
Yeah, usually.
So, I mean, when we walked at night, it was because we wanted to walk at night. It was nice to walk,
And it was
over
not a
and-
long walk. It was,
No.
like, a couple, like,
It's not
5
even a
minutes.
block.
But yeah, it's nice. You have two restaurants to choose that's in the building. There's a bar, there's a coffee shop, and then if you do go on the shuttle over there, which we went to our favorite lunch spot.
Oh, the chicken wraps.
Wasn't it Gladys's Diner?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Gladys's
chicken wraps.
Diner.
We ate them every day. Like, they were so good. We ate them all.
I will say,
crave that.
after having to eat it was a cafeteria food, but after having to eat out food every single day for 10 days, those wraps were a lifesaver because it was getting real hard to eat.
But
that
dang,
food
that
over
we
and
got
over again.
these reusable cups.
I still use mine.
Great purchase.
Wow. We were just chugging those drinks
Free
like
refills.
crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, after a while, it's like you have to just find somewhere to eat. So you're eating a lot of the same stuff, and
Because, like, again, anytime we DoorDash, our stuff would get stolen. So at that point in time, we're like, well, we can't order groceries. That was the one hard part. It was either take an Uber to go get all your groceries and lug it back, which Ubers were expensive that week, or just eat at the resort and we decided to kind of stick at the resort.
Yeah, it was fine.
Everything worked out good.
So I guess how overall would you rate the trip? And
Oh, a 10 out of 10. And let me say that prior to going on the trip, I was shopping, imagine that, and I came across a journal that had a big E on it. And normally I think Elizabeth with the E, but for some reason, just the color of the journal, the gold E on the top, it just spoke to me, and I thought, you know what you need to do? You need to start a journal, an Elvis journal. And so I did, and I wrote before we went, and a couple of the gals wrote in there too before we went. And then
a couple of the gals,
my girls, we all wrote in there on the trip at certain different times. We were able to put our memories.
I was forced to put one entry in. I'm not a writer, though.
I understand. However, one day that is going to be precious to you because it's not going to just be our trip to Elvis Week. You take that with you and you do it on all your trips, and even when you're not in Graceland. Like, write a little note in there, like, I'm going to go there. And then when that time comes, I made it here. I mean, it's just something.
Short and sweet. I'm going to go there. I made it.
I mean, but really it's a way to create memories for your kids and their kids, and just people, you know, if somebody ever came across that, they'd be like, no way, they were dedicated. So
yeah, that was fun.
Good memories.
And I like to journal. I like to write down my thoughts, and I like to capture moments, whether it be photos or videos.
Bad photos.
Okay, I'm not a great person. That's why I have these 3 wonderful girls. And now, you know, to kind of summarize, I went there as Liz, Alex, and Katie's mom. And I came back as the Jumpsuit Gems mom.
Oh, it's like, where's she
So
going?
I am
what is she going to
famous.
say?
She's famous.
I am famous by blood.
So there you go.
Right. There we go.
And yeah, tell all your friends. Go out there and check out all their stuff.
Yep. So when are you going back?
I don't know yet. I am definitely going back for the 50-year
In a few
anniversary.
years, it'll be 50.
That's going to be a huge one. I think it'll be
I
more
have
packed.
to, and that would definitely be a sweet
Save
up, go all out for that. That's going to be major.
Oh, we're going to be there for every day.
There's going to be people that weren't at Elvis Week that, I mean, think about it. It's 50 years. There's going to be, I mean, maybe Riley will be there, you know.
I think I would love to go to at least the beginning of Elvis Week. It's just so expensive. And we have other trips we're going to try to do for Elvis. I think what we're going to do is plan on going to the 50th Elvis Week and then just go to different things because there's so much to do at Graceland. Like in November, here soon, they're going to be doing like putting up all the Christmas decorations. So you can go see them doing that. You can go to Christmas. You can go to his birthday in January. You can literally have Thanksgiving dinner at Graceland. Like, there's so many options, so I think we're going to try to do see as many
throughout
different
the years,
things.
try different times, because I think it'll be cool to see it at different times of the year, because we've seen it in the summer now, and we've seen it around Christmas time, so it'll be
The
cool.
other seasons will be good.
Yeah.
We're even thinking of maybe next year spending Christmas at Graceland. I think that would be very cool. I don't know. Because I really want you to see what it looks like at Christmas time.
I do. I see the pictures and I'm jealous because you were there in person. We shared a few things in our little display on the table.
Christmas!
I did not know that there was Elvis cologne for women and men. So on the table is the bottle of course I had
if you
to
can
purchase.
see the table, Mom brought all the trinkets that she could find. So we don't usually do that, but it is full of trinkets from Grandma's
is my
house.
guest spot. So, of course, some of these things are my mom's. My mom's coffee mug is there, and items the girls bought from my mom because they knew her love for Elvis. And so Mom's kind of here with us, and I think we all have our rings on. So, yeah.
Which I think she always is here. And I think, like, when we first posted our very first post, we had our computer bag ready to go. And I remember the night before I put everything in there so in the morning we can just get it out and post it.
And when at her funeral, we all wore a sunflower pin on our clothes. And I don't even know where ours was. Like, it was hidden away, like just in a safe spot. And I opened up that bag, and one of those pins were in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think throughout the whole trip, even through this, like, she's constantly letting us know that she is here with us and she supports us. Like,
well, and I feel like, so we discussed how Elvis helped us with the death of our dad. But I think just going forward, it's something that, like, the four of us don't really talk about our feelings that much because either it ends in fights or it just isn't pretty. But I think just knowing and continuing doing Elvis things, it's a way we can kind of connect with Grandma or your mom, you know, and because, I mean, the way she passed away, it was so hard, and it takes time to kind of recover from a loss like that. So Elvis and, you know, doing anything Elvis or finding joy in Elvis just reminds us of Grandma. So,
Well, and I just think that in listening to the stories of those that were in Elvis's everyday life, I see a lot of things that I've experienced in my life, and I totally get it. And if I could have an hour in a room with those ladies and talk to them about, I completely can relate to how you felt, or, you know, so I think maybe that's the draw, because Elvis was my type. I mean, seriously.
Elvis was a little toxic, so what does that say?
I just think that it was a way for you girls to find your way in your healing journey. And then
And Mom just came along for the ride.
No, I think I'm coming in after you set your paths. Mm-hmm. And then I get to be there for part of that, you know, and Grace is lucky to get to go on those trips with you. I mean, these are three amazing girls right here. The talents, whether it be by hands, by thought, doing these podcasts, I mean, their creativity, and they surprise me all the time, but at the same time, I'm so proud of them. So stay tuned. There are big things that are going to happen with these three.
We hope so.
And again,
okay,
I'm related by blood.
It's all
but she does have a point that it is healing, even because, like, at our first one when we were in there in December, we did put a little cross of, you know, our ashes for our dad, and then this next one for your grandma. So for our grandma. So I think if there is, even if maybe your family member loved Elvis and maybe you're not so into him, go, because it might heal you and he might find you there too. So
or just try it out. I mean, if you don't like Elvis, then that's perfectly okay.
There's still other stuff to do in, like, Memphis other than Elvis too.
Which, when we go back, we need to explore Memphis because we've not really explored, you know, downtown and just.
And I want to go see where he was born.
Tupelo.
Yeah.
Tupelo.
Yeah, we need to take that tour. No, I'm sure people think
so
we already done that.
New
but we
fun
have not.
trips and new plans.
Which, before we go, I just want to say, it can be also a very humbling trip. I want to share the story of what happened to you when you met a certain someone and you had no idea who he was.
You thought he was a crazy old man.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't think he was crazy old man.
Yes,
I
you
just thought he
did.
was a chatty man. And his daughters even said, Daddy, don't bother her.
So basically, like I said in the very beginning, a lot of people stay at the guest house, or there's a lot of people that you walk by and you have no idea who they are. Because a lot of people I know is from pictures and stuff of when they're younger. So now all of them are a lot older. Or if you're not familiar, sometimes I don't know who these people are either. Like, we don't know everything about Elvis. So we're taking a shuttle over to, like, the soundstage by the museums. And this old guy is sitting next to Mom. And he's just talking her ear off. And I could just tell I was like,
But it was, like, very sweet.
Mom's got the.
He was sweet. He was just asking, you going shopping? And he's like, yeah, they got to take me around back. And I'm just thinking, like, oh, he probably has money. Like, because he's probably going to the VIP dinner that they get to do with all the Elvises and stuff. And I was like, dang, but so we're riding over there and Mom's just like, yeah. And so when we get out, he just like tells us to have a good day, and Mom kind of rolls her eyes. She's just like, oh my gosh, she was just talking my ear off. And so
we're like, Mom, so like that's rude. That's a nice old guy.
Fast forward like an hour later.
We're sitting in our seats about to watch this concert, and it was one of these concerts is where they would bring out people who used to play for Elvis. So this drummer comes out, and
Mom's jaw drops.
Before they even say who it was, I said, no way. I said, how much you want to bet? I looked at Mom and said, that's going to be him who sat next to you on the bus. He comes out, and it's Gene. He comes out, and Mom's face. I wish I had that on video.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I need to apologize to him.
And I did.
And she did.
I made it a point to find him down in the lobby in the bar area at the guest house. And I waited till he was done having conversations with other folks. And I went up to him and I said, Gene, I am so sorry if I was short or curt on the shuttle earlier. I had no idea I was riding next to a music legend.
Yeah, and he said, oh, you weren't sitting next to anyone.
I mean,
he's very humble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we took some pictures with him, and it's funny. And he's
That
like,
was
he's
fun.
super old.
He's funny. He was like sticking his tongue out. Like,
yeah, they're like, do something silly, and then we like stuck our tongue. He's like, stick your tongue out, and he had like no expression. He's like so old that it's like hard to. And he just like sticks his tongue out just a little bit. He's like, bleh. And we were laughing so hard, and I'm just like, how cool is that though? Like, I guess it humbled you.
Yes.
You know, and
because you don't know.
You have no idea who these people are.
So when that old man
carry it over
next
into your
to
everyday life. It doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, child. It doesn't matter. Kindness and be good. And I think I've lived my life like that. I've probably been too good.
I mean, you weren't
kind.
mean to him.
Right. But I mean, not knowing.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. Don't get annoyed with an old man chatting your ear off because it may just be a famous drummer.
But also, like, you will run into anybody. Like, I had our mom's hip was hurting, and she needed, or her ankle or something, and it was hurting. She needed ice. And I was in my PJs. I think I had my Elvis PJs on, and I went out, and no other pat done.
Ugh.
He just showed up, and he just said, I think he, like, waved and said, hey, or something like that. And I was just like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, because you had to walk past him or something.
I was like, yeah, because he was going to the room on the same floor as us. But it's just like, you really will run into anybody, so you have to be prepared.
Prepared and nice, because you don't
never know what's going to happen.
You don't have to be nice. You should be nice in general. But
Mom.
beyond...
you have to be nice.
Because you should be nice all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a famous person or not. You don't know.
But that's what we're saying. Just be nice.
I know.
And that's
I was
just to be
humbled. So
prepared.
back to the point...
Mom will never, ever.
I will never, ever be humbled like that again. I wasn't mean. I just was kind of dismissive, if you would. I mean...
It was funny. That was a highlight. That's one of my favorite moments. So, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, you would think Mom still didn't get a picture with any of the Elvises.
And I didn't get anything from Larry. I just wanted to go to Larry and have him say my name. That's it.
But she is afraid of famous people, so that would not have went over well.
I am so scared of famous people, but I would go up to Larry. I just wanted to be respectful.
Well, maybe
of
we'll
him.
meet Larry, but
Larry Strickland. If you ever see this, just say my name.
Well,
just
also,
say
maybe
Alex.
come on our podcast. That'd be great.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Scares her. She won't do it.
What if he did it virtual?
I would just be very quiet.
She'd be silent the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there's just a lot, like, in our future, we want to make more memories, and hopefully one day we can interview people, because Elvis is such a big part of our life now, and it'll be cool to connect with people who, you know, are in that world. So,
well, and your Uncle Buck said that he was very proud that you guys have been doing this, and he enjoys watching and listening to your podcasts. And so, shout out, Uncle Buck.
Another peace sign. Which I was coming home.
Sign count,
and
everyone.
she did tell me, she's like, here, Uncle Buck, he needs a shout out. She first said, "What is it? A shout head or something?"
He said
missed
shootout.
Shootout. And I was so confused. I was like, "Oh, I think he means a shout out." So
Old people.
If he stays till the end of this podcast, he'll get
we love
one.
you, and we can't wait for when you're on here because that's going to be a hilarious episode.
Oh boy.
I think we're gonna do some Elvis.
Elvis.
We're tired, obviously.
It's almost
we're gonna do some
midnight.
Elvis trivia with some people who don't necessarily know too much about Elvis. I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically our goal is just to hopefully start bringing people to Graceland who's never been, because I don't know, I feel like it's life changing.
Well, this trip
Now-
was so cool. Like, even taking Grace and, like, going for our birthday, that was great. Taking Mom for her first, Graceland experience, that was great. I think it'll just be cool to see, and, maybe one day we can get the younger ones, and maybe our nieces can go in and see why we're so infatuated with Elvis.
And I do have a goal. As long as I'm breathing, my goal will be to get into the chapel. I don't know what I got to do.
Oh, yeah, you can have weddings at the chapel.
Oh, okay.
Private events.
I would really love to see the chapel and be in it, because that is a song.
that she loves.
Right.
I'm telling you, I had heard it, but it never moved me. It didn't, I had heard it. I knew the words to it. We heard it all Elvis week. And now I get back to Billings and I listen to nothing but Sirius Elvis station and Argo.
She's
Another peace sign.
Another peace sign.
Argo. Our mom is your biggest fan.
I mean, ever.
I listen to Elvis radio. People watch for me to pull up at my job because I have my Elvis just going in my Jeep. I'm telling you. Anyway.
She is so obsessed, Argo, with you that she thought she would.
No. Let's just say she thought you were constantly around 1,000 different people. She was prepared to meet you.
She really thought one
I
time.
was looking for you, Argo.
She wanted a shout out so bad.
She was like, we were walking.
No, I don't know.
And I was like, we can't tell that. Okay, we'll tell a quick version. But I was down at the end of the hall just sitting because Alex went to the room. I was sitting down at the chair because my feet hurt. And then I was just watching Liz and my mom, our mom laughing so hard. I'm just like, and then I kind of just keep watching and watching. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Be careful. Be careful.
I'm not. But we're walking down this hallway.
He had a hat like Argo wears.
He didn't.
She goes, Liz, oh my God. Don't look behind you. Don't look behind you. Look who that is. It's DJ. It's DJ Argo. And so I slowly turn around. Oh no. She's messing that
I
up.
saw the person that walked past, and I was like, there's no way that was DJ Argo. And the hat
Maybe I
you're
just
talking about was
wanted
not
it
the
to
same
be-
hat.
I just
I'd just say
made
there
me
was
think it
probably
was
a
him.
half-foot difference in height.
Alex, how do you know? You need to see him.
Because you guys told me and explained who it was.
I saw them, and I was
was
like,
so
that is
sad.
not.
And we can't comment on what
Maybe I
the
was
other
like-
problem was.
I was like, oh.
Maybe I'll post a clip of us talking about this and tag him and see if he'll watch it. Because that's how we get DZ to watch our stuff. So,
Yep. Dean Z.
Oh, another
My
piece of
favorite Elvis.
right.
right.
Honestly,
artist.
a tribute artist. Yes,
You need to meet him.
I do. I
He'd
think
have a
that
field
he
day
knows
with you.
it. I feel like he's commented on things. First Elvis I saw at Graceland, and every performance.
Hey, I got to be on
Awesome.
his Instagram story. It's because I held up a sticker and it said Elvis or President, and I said, hell yeah. And
Mr. President.
oh yeah, hell yeah, Mr. President.
He thought that was so funny.
Because
Well, it is
which,
election
Mom,
year,
why don't
so
you
Yeah.
just, why don't you
trending.
just message him and say, hey, can we all go out to dinner?
yeah, it's that easy. Come on.
And actually, he has a beautiful wife, and his little girl was in there just dancing
Doing
up
the
a storm.
words, yeah.
I mean, he's just a wonderful, wholesome person, and he does a mean Elvis. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and you got to see him for the first time perform
Yeah,
at Elvis Week. So, what'd you think?
I would love to go to some of his other concerts. And
We
as a
will.
matter of fact, I'm following you now. And I'm
She almost
watching whatever
put half a peace sign.
Another peace sign.
Okay. We should probably cut it. It's getting so
Yeah.
late, but this will not be the first time Mom comes on our podcast. This is just the first episode that she does. So just stay tuned. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Mom.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
I'd do anything for you girls.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks.
Even push myself first to meet D&C so that you guys aren't nervous.
Mm-hmm.
We're
I'll
not
go
nervous.
first.
I already met him.
We've already been in his vicinity, so
Alex hasn't.
nope.
She ran away from him.
That is a story for your next podcast.
I already told that story.
Oh yeah, you did. I did watch it.
Anyway.
All
All
right.
right. We're going to get going.
Yep.
but-
Everybody take care.
Bye.
Bye.